And to get you more on this, I'm joined by DD India correspondent Naval Singh Parmar from Dhaka. And also joining us live is Ambassador Pinak Ranjan Chakravarti, former Secretary of Ministry of External Affairs. Good afternoon to both of you. First of all, coming on to you, Naval Singh, what is the latest that you are tracking? First, the resignation and now the arrival of Rahman over there.
Well, Tariq Rahman today reached the Dhaka after a very long period, almost 17 years of self-exile. And BNP arranged a grand reception in the welcome of Tariq Rahman. It will give a new vigor to BNP activists and leaders to fight the upcoming national election, which is due in February 2026. At the same time, political atmosphere in Dhaka and Bangladesh charged up with the returning of the Tariq Zia, and the previous weeks, the happening in the Dhaka also created a much hit in the South Asian nation.
All right. And what more can you tell us about the future proceedings, considering that Rahman is now already there in Bangladesh?
Yeah, he will contest the next parliamentary election, and he will be a prime ministerial candidate from the BNP side. That is for sure.
All right. Thank you so much, Naval Singh, for joining us and getting us the latest straight from Bangladesh. And now let's decode this new development. Ambassador, coming on to you. At the age of 60, Rahman has decided to return to Bangladesh, probably with an aim to make the most of the current destabilized conditions in Bangladesh. Tell us why is his homecoming can be a game changer for Bangladesh's politics?
Given the current political situation where the Awami League, the largest party in Bangladesh, has been banned, so the political space has been created for the BNP, which is the second largest party in terms of the mainstream parties. And the other major contender would be the Jamaat-e-Islami, plus its allied Islamic kind of organizations. But the Jamaat, unfortunately or fortunately, has never won more than 10-12% vote in any previous election. Whereas the BNP can get almost about 30%, but sometimes it falls short of a majority. And earlier it had to join hands with the Jamaat to form the government from 2001 to 2006. And in fact, in 2007, it was when the army-backed caretaker government took over. They actually compelled Tariq Rahman to go into exile. And they told him that you cannot take part in any political activities for various reasons, and many of them were documented and are available. So there is a lot of baggage that he carries. But now, of course, he's back in Dhaka and will lead the BNP, and clearly is the front runner for becoming the next prime minister, because the BNP remains now the largest party. I don't think they will probably, seek Jamaat-e-Islami as a coalition partner, but they might go for other smaller, because they have fallen out, because the Jamaat-e-Islami wants to make a bid for power on its own. But that seems difficult unless they are forced into some arrangement again by various considerations, including the fact that he has come back under possibly an agreement with the interim government, that because in the interim government has very conveniently acquitted him in all the cases that he was convicted and sent to prison. So that is one concession they have given him. In return, they would certainly demand some quid pro quo, and I don't know what that is, but it could be that Professor Muhammad Yunus will sort of be made the president after the election. And there are speculation that after Tariq becomes prime minister, he may accommodate the Jamaat leader as deputy prime minister. These are all the very speculative, kind of projections being made. We'll, of course, have to wait for the election to find out what really happens. And let us hope that they have a free, fair, and Of course, inclusive election would mean that the Awami League is allowed to participate. The Awami League is, of course, facing a wave of unpopularity because of various reasons. And of course, Sheikh Hasina, the leader, is not there. She's taken refuge in India. So there are anti-Awami League and anti-India feelings that have been deliberately fanned. Some spontaneously, but the others actually fanned to build a narrative against India. So I think these forces are in action. So I do believe that the BNP stands a good chance, and it's a mainstream party. And I would say that if it wins and they take over the power in a democratically elected way, then India will have no problem in dealing with such a government. We have dealt with them before. So I do not foresee any problem for India in terms of dealing with this government. There will, of course, be many, many issues on the agenda, and we will have to see how far they take this anti-India agenda, and so that we are prepared to take countermeasures.
Though Hindus are there in minority, but can we also see any sort of impact of the current situation on the upcoming elections?
Well, what will happen is that the voters will now be a little more confused as to whom to vote for. For example, the primary question will be that the Awami League voters, who are numerous and probably in the majority, who do they vote for, or do they avoid voting for anybody? And some will, of course, may gravitate towards the BNP, since they will feel that it is better to have the BNP than the Jamaat, who they don't want in power. The Jamaat will try to woo them. In fact, the Jamaat is showing a very, very moderate face to the public. In fact, telling the Hindus that, you will be, your security will be ensured under our rule. That's the kind of projections being made. So they are wooing the voters. The Hindus do not know probably now. Generally, they voted for the Awami League because it upheld secular and liberal values. But they might vote for the BNP because they might also feel that the BNP might be a better choice than the Jamaat-e-Islami. Because Jamaat-e-Islami wants to impose, Sharia rule, make Bangladesh a kind of a radical Islamic nation, along with the other Islamists who are allied to them. I don't think the normal people of Bangladesh want that thing to happen. They prefer the way Bangladesh is, and they basically want Bengali values, cultural values, a liberal kind of progressive Bangladesh, rather than an Islamic Bangladesh ruled by Sharia law.
And also tell us, what does Rahman's homecoming means for India when we talk about the relationship, the bilateral relationship both of them currently have, and the future that holds for both of them?
I think Tariq Rahman is a known quantity for us. We have dealt with him during the period 2001 to 2006 when he was an alternate power center without being in government, and exercised a lot of influence when his mother was the prime minister. So we are aware of him. We know him. We have contacts with him. So we do not think that he's an unknown quantity, and we think that we would be able to deal with him and have a normal relationship with Bangladesh if he leads the next government in Dhaka.
All right. Thank you so much, Ambassador, for joining us and giving us a rounded perspective on the arrival of Tariq Rahman back to Bangladesh.